Welcome to SATV News. This is Qazi Farhana with your headlines. University elections never influence national polls, says Mirza Fakhrul. Country's law and order situation remains unsatisfactory. Upcoming election to shape Bangladesh's next 50 years, says Fazul Kabir, urges voters to support reform proposals in referendum. National Security Advisor met US Chair Ambassador in Washington, proposes to reduce reciprocal tariff from current 20%. Now in details. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir has condemned the killings of political leaders, including several from his party, and criticized the government for taking no effective action, saying the country's law and order situation remains unsatisfactory ahead of the national election. He made these comments while speaking to journalists in Thakurgah's Kalibari today. He also described BNP chairperson Tariq Rahman's ongoing tour as entirely personal, noting plans to visit family graves and pay respects to party martyrs in Bogura, Rangpur, Dinajpur and Thakurgah, including a public prayer for the late Begum Khaleda Zia. Fakhrul said Rahman's visit would energize party supporters. At the same time, the BNP leaders stated that university elections have never had any influence on national elections. Referring to the success of Islami Chhatra Shibir in student union elections at universities, Mr. Fakhrul further said the issue requires in-depth research. Besides, he highlighted past restrictions on student organizations, including the student wing of his party. Advisor to Ministries of Power, Energy and Mineral Resources, Road Transport and Bridges and Railways, Muhammad Fazul Kabir Khan today said the people of Bangladesh will determine the destiny for the next 50 years through the national parliamentary elections scheduled for February 12. Speaking while inspecting a specially designed voter gari at Gor-e-Shahid Boro Maidan in Dinajpur, he also assured that voters should be able to cast their ballots freely in both general elections and the referendum. Mr. Khan noted that in the past many citizens were deprived of their voting rights and said the July mass uprising by students and the public reflected resistance against that deprivation. Now the time has come for people to exercise their right to vote and elect candidates of their choice, he added. Highlighting the importance of reforms, the advisor said they are essential to maintaining a balance of power and preventing enforced disappearances, murders and killings. He urged voters to support the reform proposals by voting yes in the referendum, while stressing that those opposed are free to vote no without any pressure. Press Secretary to the Chief Advisor Shafiqul Alam said the government has taken all necessary measures to ensure a level playing field for all political parties in the upcoming 13th national parliamentary election. He made the remark while speaking to journalists after visiting the Shivbari temple in Mymensingh city and exchanging greetings with members of the Sanatan community this afternoon. The press secretary also said the election environment has been very good so far, with equal opportunities for both small and large parties. He added that although one or two people have raised concerns about the level playing field, there has been no visible incident on the ground to suggest that the environment has been compromised. Earlier on the morning, he visited in the shrine and adjoining ghat area of the Hazrat Shah Sufi Saad Kalusha in the Burapur area on Jubilee Road in the city. Regarding the security of shrines, the press secretary said the morals of law enforcement agencies has increased and security at religious establishments is being further strengthened. The Election Commission dismissed reports claiming that the elections in the Pabna 1 and Pabna 2 constituencies had been postponed. The information attributed to the EC is not correct, the Commission said in a handout issued this afternoon, requesting that the news broadcast on the matter be withdrawn or stopped. Earlier, several reports emerged stating that the EC has suspended the election process in the Pabna 1 and Pabna 2 constituencies following an order from the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court over a dispute related to the demarcation of the two states. National Security Advisor Dr. Khalilur Rahman met with U.S. Trade Representative Ambassador Jamieson Greer in Washington, D.C. on Thursday afternoon. He also had a separate meeting with Assistant U.S. Chair Brendan Lynch. During the meeting with the Ambassador Greer, Khalilur Rahman briefed him on the progress in the reducing trade gap between Bangladesh and the United States. Even before the formal execution of the reciprocal trade agreement, Bangladesh has made major strides in reducing the trade gap by substantially increasing reports from the U.S. and has implemented some key aspects of the agreement. Khalilur Rahman said, in light of this, he proposed to U.S. tier to reduce the reciprocal tariff from current 20%. Ambassador Gray agreed to positively consider this proposal. He also agreed to give serious consideration to Khalilur Rahman's proposal to lower or eliminate U.S. reciprocal tariff on apparel using U.S. content. Both sides agreed to rapidly resolve a handful outstanding matters in order that the reciprocal tariff agreement could be finalized and executed expeditiously. Four people, including a child, died after a bus caught fire following in collision among three vehicles in Kumilla's Daudkandi this afternoon. This collision occurred among a bus, an auto rickshaw and a motorcycle on the Dhaka-Chattogram highway in Baniapara area. Officer in charge of Daudkandi Highway Police Station said police recovered 4 bodies from the scene. The identities of the victims could not be confirmed immediately. Being informed, fire service personnel rushed to the spot and brought the blaze under the control. The OC said a collision between the motorcycle and the bus may have ignited fuel leaking from the motorcycle's tank, causing the bus to catch fire. Rice prices batch again. Veggies chip prices of the miniket and nadishal rice in the capital's market have increased by Taka 3 to Taka 4 per kilogram over the past week. Despite prices of pulses and rice have gone up, consumers are getting some relief because of the ample supply of winter vegetables. According to retailers, rice made from the Aush, Amon and Nadishal paddy has started arriving in the market and supplies are expected to increase further within the next week. Prices of all varieties of miniket rice have risen. Monjur and Shagur brand miniket rice is being sold at Taka 83 to 84 per kg, up from Taka 80 a week ago. Non-brand miniket increased from around Taka 65 to Taka 70 per kg. Prices of Nadishal rice have also increased. Locally produced Nadishal rice is being sold at Taka 72 to 85 per kg, depending on quality. Meanwhile, there is comparatively more relief in the vegetable market. With higher supplies of new season Murikata onions, prices are at Taka 60 to 65 per kg. Imported onions are being sold at Taka 65 to 70 Taka per kg, while locally produced old onion cost 80 Taka to 90 Taka per kg. Potatoes are priced at 35 to 40 Taka per kg, beans at 40 to 60 Taka, radish at Taka 25 to 30 and eggplant at Taka 60 to 70. Viewers, so taking a short break, stay with us.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629।
Welcome back to watching SATV News. News from abroad. Venezuelan acting president Delcy Rodriguez led a tribute ceremony on Thursday honoring military personnel killed during a U.S. military operation on January 3 that resulted in the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores. Rodriguez stated that Venezuela would seek vindication through the diplomatic means rather than revenge, telling the American people that Venezuelans did not deserve aggression from a nuclear power. Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez attended the ceremony at Venezuela's military academy, where Rodriguez presented Venezuelan flags to relatives of the fallen soldiers and announced posthumous promotions and decorations. According to Venezuelan Interior Minister, at least 100 people died as a result of the U.S. strikes. Cuba's President Miguel Diaz-Canel announced on Sunday that 32 Cuban nationals who are part of Maduro's security detail also died in the combat. The U.S. Senate advanced a resolution on Thursday that would bar Donald Trump from taking further military action against Venezuela without congressional authorization, paving the way for further consideration in the 100-member chamber. The vote on a procedural measure to advance the war powers resolution was 52 to 47 as a handful of Trump's fellow Republicans voted with every Democrat in favor of moving ahead. The vote came days after U.S. forces captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in a dramatic military raid in Caracas. Republicans, however, insist the weekend operation did not require congressional approval because it was very short and involved law enforcement to bring Maduro to court to New York.
American people watch this and not just.
U.S. President Donald Trump indicated on Thursday that Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado was coming to Washington next week. During an interview with Fox News, Trump was asked if he plans to meet with Machado following U.S. strikes in Venezuela that resulted in the capture of its president Nicolas Maduro. This will be Trump's first meeting with Machado, who said earlier this week that she hadn't spoken to the U.S. leader since she won the Nobel Peace Prize in October. Trump said he will meet with oil executives at the White House on Friday. Those oil companies, according to the president, who will play a key role in the rebuilding Venezuela's oil industry. Hundreds of protesters took to the streets outside a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Portland, Oregon, on Thursday following a shooting involving a federal agent that left 2 people injured. A U.S. Border Patrol agent shot and wounded a man and a woman in Portland, authorities said on Thursday, leading city and state officials to call for calm given public outrage over the ICE shooting death of a Minnesota woman a day earlier. Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security said on X that Border Patrol agents were conducting a vehicle stop when a driver weaponized his vehicle before an officer fired a defensive shot. DHS said the passengers of the vehicles was the target of the stop. Tensions over U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown rose across the country on Thursday after the second shooting involving immigration officers in 2 days, defending rifts between state and federal officials over how and why the shootings occurred. Iran was plunged into a complete internal blackout on Thursday night as protests over economic conditions spread nationwide, increasing pressure on the country's leadership. While it was unclear what caused the internet cut, first reported by the Internet Freedom Monitor NetBlocks, Iranian authorities have shut down the internet in response to protests in the past. NetBlocks has reported outrages in the western city of the Kermanshah earlier in the day as authorities intensified their crackdown against protesters. The Norway-based NGO Iran Human Rights said on Thursday that Iranian security forces had killed at least 45 protesters, including 8 children, since the demonstrations began in late December. Demonstrations reached all 31 provinces on Thursday as the protest movement showed no signs of abating. Russian drones attacked targets in the Kiev early on Friday, killing 4 people, injuring at least 19, and inflicting considerable damage in dwellings and the infrastructure, Ukrainian officials said. Timur Tkachenko's head of the capital's military administration and Mayor Vitaly Klitschko wrote on Telegram that 4 people had been killed in the strikes, which began just before midnight. Klitschko said 19 people were injured, with 14 of them being treated in hospital. One of the dead, Klitschko said, was an emergency medic who had arrived at a suburban apartment hit by 2 drones in succession. 4 members of the same crew were injured in that incident. 2 apartment buildings had been hit on the east bank of the Dnipro River, causing major damage, he said. In one building, an entire entrance had been destroyed, and a high-rise building had also been badly damaged in a central district. Tkachenko said one drone had triggered a fire in a shopping center, while another had fallen outside a medical facility. Both officials said fires had broken out in the several city districts. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Thursday that an agreement on security guarantees with the United States was ready to be signed at the highest level, adding that discussion has also advanced on documents covering Ukraine's reconstruction and economic development involving Ukraine, the United States and Europe. Zelensky also warned a possible new large-scale Russian strike overnight, urging Ukrainians to heed air raid alerts and seek shelter. He further said that Moscow was trying to exploit winter weather and reiterated calls for continued international support for Ukraine and pressure on Russia.
І з нашого боку повний конструктив. Американська команда має отримати відповідь від Росії. На що готові та
Mexico's daily monthly rate has fallen nearly 40% from where it was when Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum took office, the president said on Thursday, citing preliminary statistics. The daily homicide average in December 2025 was 52.4, down from 86.9 in September 2024. The month before Sheinbaum took office, for the full year, Mexico's national murder rate per 1 lakh people was 17.5 in 2025, the lowest since 2015, according to a presentation by the head of Mexico's national public security system. Sheinbaum said the numbers showed her government's security strategy was producing results and credited close collaboration between the security and justice officials and state governors. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva devoted on Thursday a bill passed by Congress cutting former President Jair Bolsonaro's 27-year prison sentence for plotting a coup after losing the 2022 election. Lula signed the bill during an event at the Planalto Palace in Brasilia to mark the 3rd anniversary of the coup attempt. The bill approved by the lawmakers in December was set to cut the former right-wing president's prison term to just over 2 years. Congress can still override Lula's veto. The bills also reduce sentence for those convicted over their roles in a January 8, 2023 riot when Bolsonaro supporters invaded and ransacked in the presidential palace. Supreme Court and Congress. About 2,000 people were arrested over the attack, and many of those in Brazil have been convicted by the Supreme Court of attempting a coup, among other crimes. Three people were unaccounted for as out-of-control bushfires raged in the Australian state of Victoria, destroying homes and burning through the vast swaths of bushland, said authorities on Friday. A blaze near the town of Longwood has burned through more than 35,000 hectares of bushland, while a blaze near Walwa has grown to around 20,000 hectares. Both started on Wednesday as an intense heat wave in the country's south produced the worst fire conditions since 2019, when bushfire destroyed large tracts of southern Australia, killing 33 people. Before ending, we'll go through the headlines again. University elections never influence national polls, says Mirza Fakhrul. Country's law and order situation remain unsatisfactory. Upcoming election to shape Bangladesh's next 50 years, says Fazlul Kabir, urges voters to support reform proposals in referendum. National Security Advisor, Ms. U.S. Tour Ambassador in Washington, proposes to reduce reciprocal tariff from current 20%. We're updated with our top stories so far here on SATV, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.